that yesterday, after we had a briefing from our officials, the acting minister, Dr. Oren Montsoaledi, instructed us to go with him to Hammanskraal, and we did so. And among the things that we did there, firstly, we were joined by the WHO expert team that went with us, and we went to the Jubilee Hospital. We have agreed to establish what we call a field hospital stroke clinic in the area called Kanana, where we are really getting most of these citizens coming in from the area affected. You would recall, Chairperson, from your clinical knowledge that if you don't catch cholera people early enough, 1 hour is too long for them not to be hydrated. So we want to catch them from homes, from household, and actually hydrate them as quickly as we can, and then be able to triage and send them to the hospital. I might also report, Chairperson, that we have already gotten a service of a gastroenterologist who will be based at Jubilee Hospital, being a district hospital. That one is going to come in from Steve Biko Academic Hospital for a whole week, just to make sure they support that hospital with all other needs. And the fourth one, Chair, we have got an NHLS request to prioritize specimens coming in from Jubilee Hospital, specifically to assist with, even if you do a UNE, because we need to hydrate them, but know whether what is happening with their urea, potassium, sodium, as you know, and so that we give what is appropriate. Minister Pasha is landing from Geneva this morning. At 11 o'clock, we will proceed to see the establishment of what we have agreed upon and be with the community and with our patients. And maybe we can then give another update to you, Chair, on Monday, based on what you are going to be observing this weekend. Thank you very much, Chairperson, and back to you.
Thank you, DM, for coming to present this information to us. We are very thankful and grateful as a portfolio committee that the department is moving that fast. And I think that this field hospital is probably one of the best ideas that you've had in terms of managing this cholera. We know that we are all hands-on with this, and we are certain that NHLS will be able to support you with providing results on any specimens forwarded to them. And we hope that you will just continue, and we're sure you will continue to do good work on this. I now see two hands. Honorable members, I just need to remind you that I am still busy with the introduction of my meeting, so I will come back to those two hands. And I wouldn't want us to really be sidetracked on the purpose of our meeting. I simply wanted to give the minister, to honor the deputy minister by giving him an opportunity to say something. So let me continue, and once I've gone through all of my introductions, I would give both of you a short opportunity. So, honorable members, just to remind you that this is a virtual meeting, and this virtual meeting is considered to be a meeting of the National Assembly and a meeting of a committee of a National Assembly. That this meeting is constituted for official purposes only. In addition to the rules of virtual sitting, the rules of the National Assembly, including the rules of debate, apply. Members enjoy the same powers and privileges that apply in a sitting of the National Assembly. Members should equally note that anything said in the virtual platform is deemed to have been said to the House and may be ruled upon. All members who have logged in shall be considered to be present and are requested to mute their microphones and only unmute when recognized to speak. This is because the microphones are very sensitive and will pick up noise which might disturb the attention of other members. When recognized to speak, please unmute your microphone and connect your video. Members may make use of the icons on the bar at the bottom of their screens. It has an option that allows a member to put up his or her hand to raise points of order. Secretariat will assist in alerting the chairperson to members requesting to speak. Using the virtual system, members are urged to refrain or desist from unnecessary points of order or interjection. Now, before I even take those hands, I still want to continue. I also want to recognize the state law advisors this morning. Advocate Aisha Jawar, I don't see Advocate Theo Hercules on the platform, and maybe he is. Good morning. Good morning, Masu and Isaac from the Parliamentary Legal Services. And I did not hear what you were saying, Advocate Jawar, but I think Theo Hercules is not here.
Yes, Chairperson, please receive our apologies for Mr. Hercules not being here today. He is attending to another bill this morning.
All right, and just to be reminded, the department wouldn't necessarily be here because this is a committee meeting. And so I'm not looking, I'm actually scrolling for names, but they are not necessarily expected to participate in our meeting. Now, we do have purpose for the meeting. I'm going to lie the two hands, and then I will go to the purpose for the meeting and the rules on which this meeting is constituted as to what we will be doing now. So the two hands, and I will go back to the purpose of our meeting, and we will proceed from there onwards, honorable members. Honorable Chirwa, followed by Honorable Van Staden.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I wanted to firstly say that Dr. Susan is going to join the meeting later on. She's writing an exam. And second to that, please note, because I'm going to lose connection as well, I'm going to join the meeting again when I get connection again. Please note when you get to these points on the committee's report on the NHI Bill, our rejection and our abstinence on the AMA Treaty report. Yes, that is all that I wanted to say because I'm going to lose connection soon. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Can I just get a repeat on the AMA report or AMA Treaty report? Abstinence. You abstain.
Correct, Chairperson. Correct.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Honorable Van Staden.
Chairperson, thank you for the opportunity. Now, it's in connection with what the Deputy Minister has said. If you will allow me, I just want to ask him two questions on a matter. Otherwise, if you don't want to, we can proceed to the next meeting then on this matter.
Feel free, but very short. Please.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Chairperson. No, I just want to thank you, Deputy Minister, for that information you have sent to us this morning. I just want to hear from you what is the involvement at this stage of the local government on this issue and the Doctors Without Borders. What are their involvement at this moment at this problem in Pretoria? Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay. Oh God, there's another here.
You're on, Deputy Minister.
Chairperson, I am not in charge of your meeting. As I was about to start, I noticed another hand from Honorable Geller, but maybe it's on another matter, not what I'm asked to talk about. Let me proceed as instructed by you, Chair. The Doctors Without Borders came in within our space at Jubilee Hospital. We had, obviously, we have to protect us as a government and patients. So if you pitch up in a particular institution, you must identify yourself and also show us your qualification. And therefore, we need to actually check that with HPCSA and confirm. It's not that we are opposed to their support, but it is the processing of if anything happens to them also within the hospital, any injury, we need to just make sure they are not holding us any responsible for that. And not that we are going to injure them, but just those precautions. So that was some administrative things that probably were not done as yet, and we agreed that those things will be attended to, and therefore we will accept their support going forward. You probably might have picked up on the news that the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Minister Mchunu, is meeting with the leadership of the city of Tshwane because they are supporting each other in terms of being the water authority. We are on the receiving end to receive good or unsafe water. So they are finalizing that. We await the progress of that. So I'm not aware what they will be announcing, but that is being taken care of through the City of Tshwane meeting with the minister this morning. That process is on, Honorable Van Staden. Maybe let me stop there for now, Chair. Thank you very much. Over.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. My intention was really not for us to have this discussion. I have other work committed to, honorable members. I say 2 more hands. I'm going to allow you to only make a comment each of 10 seconds. Thank you, honorable members Gela and Kama.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My apology for raising hand, but I just want to welcome the briefing from the minister for giving us the information, and we really are supporting you, Minister, and your team in your work. Secondly, Chair, I don't know, Chairperson, because the issue of Amatrit, it's coming for the second time. And when it was presented by the department, Dr. Tembekwayo supported the Amatrit. So now Chira is saying something else, Chairperson, which is which? Thank you, Chair.
We'll come to that when we do the treaty, Honorable Gela. Honorable Kaba.
No, Chair, thank you. I think I'm joining Honorable Gela on accepting the briefing from the minister. I think it is spot on and it shows government it is at work. And Chair, I think it is your meeting. We are ready to engage on items because I see us engaging before you may lead us on items. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So, honorable members, we are here to do the following things. We are here to consider and adopt the committee's report on the NHI Bill firstly. Secondly, we are here to consider and adopt the committee's report on the AMA Treaty. Thirdly, we are here to consider and adopt minutes of the previous meetings. Now, before we proceed, I'm going to read the rules for you, applicable rules from the rules of the National Assembly, 9th edition. It's Rule 288, Committee's Report. The Assembly Committee to which bill is referred must table in the Assembly its report, the bill that has been agreed on by it in its final amended or redrafted form as adopted by the committee where applicable, or if it has not agreed on a bill, the bill as referred to it. The supporting memorandum which was introduced with the bill, or if the memorandum has been amended by the committee, the amended memorandum, and if the bill was introduced by a member in his or her individual capacity, the views, if any, expressed on the bill by the relevant department in the National Executive Authority or executive organ of state in the national sphere of government. The committee may report to the Assembly only after the JTM has classified the bill and has made its findings on the bill. In its report, the committee must state the JTM's classification of and findings of the bill. So these are the must, honorable members, and there are 6, 7, 8, 9 of these. Must state whether it recommends approval of the bill with or without amendments, a redraft of the bill, or rejection of the bill. In the case of a bill introduced by a member in his or her individual capacity, must state the views on the bill submitted by the relevant executive authority. Must specify each amendment if an amended bill other than a redraft of the bill was agreed on by it, and each amendment that was considered and for a reason other than its being out of order was rejected by it. Must specify each amendment rejected by the committee if a redrafted bill was agreed on by it. Must, if it is not a unanimous report, specify in which respects and why there was not consensus, and in addition to the views representative of the majority in the committee, convey any views of a minority in the committee in order to facilitate debate when the report comes before the House. May specify such details or information about its inquiry and any representation or representations or evidence received or taken by it as it may consider necessary for the purposes of the debate on the bill. May report any matter arising from its deliberations on the bill but which is not necessarily related to the bill, and may recommend to the Assembly that any matter contained in the report be placed on the order paper for separate consideration either before or after the Assembly considers the bill. Now, honourable members, we have received a report on the NHI bill. It's a 75-page report. It was emailed to all of you. I would have hoped that you all would have read through that report, and I will just simply have to find the report now for myself quickly. So if you don't mind, I need to go out of here on my platform and go to that email. Now, the process that I'm going to follow is very basic. This report, I'm going to mention what the report is, what it's titled, what the bill is, and then I'm going to go through this, not page by page, but I will be following the pages, with giving you the headings and the subheadings, because most of what, or rather all of it, what is contained in this report is what we would have presented before to the committee and the committee would have agreed upon. I would think that you would all follow this. And at the end, once we had completed the work on the consideration of the committee report, that I will take short inputs, and then we will go to a system of adoption of this report by the portfolio committee. I will do this by asking each of you in person to agree or disagree on the adoption of the committee's report on the NHI bill. So this bill is called the Report of the Portfolio Committee on Health on the National Health Insurance Bill, and it's classified as B11, 2019, National Assembly, Section 76, dated 26 May 2023. Only as an introduction, the Portfolio Committee on Health, having considered the subject of the National Health Insurance Bill, B11, 2019, National Assembly, Section 76, referred to it and classified by the joint tagging mechanism as the Section 76 Bill, reports the bill with amendments B1B 2019. Now, the first page, we talk about the context and the background. I wonder, would you want me to flight this? I think it would be correct. Can I get rights to co-host Ms. Majalamba?
You do have the rights, Chair.
I do have the rights. All right, thank you. Share screen. There we go. Can you see my screen now?
Yes,
Do I have
Chair.
the right screen? Yes. This one?
Yes, Chair. Yes,
Thank
Chair.
you. All right, so the first part is just context and background. We've gone through this many times. The second part was objectives of the bill. We've gone through section 2. We've gone through this many times. The parliamentary process, as we had gone through many times, is simply explained here. I'll go a little bit slower on the pages. If you, once you've read or you've seen or you have it in front of you, there's anything that you want to speak to, please do so. Note the page, but do so at the end of this presentation. 3.1 is the legal opinion from the parliamentary legal advisor and the state law advisors. It's captured here. And on 3.2, deliberations on the legal advisor's input. There's a meeting of the 22nd of March 2023, and then there's the meeting of the 29th of March 2023. So those were two meetings considered whether the committee was considering the bill and where different views were raised around deliberation on the Parliamentary Legal Services opinion and the State Law Advisor's opinion. And then a summary of the Freedom Front Plus legal opinion, because there was a request for a legal opinion to be provided, and it is now captured in the document. And then the next page, so a couple of pages just speaks to the opinion that was provided by the Freedom Front Plus. And you can see I'm still going through that. I'm still going through it. Page 7 still, point 7 still, and then there's conclusion. And after this conclusion, we had consideration and adoption of the A list and the B bill, which is a meeting that had sat on the 12th of May, where the committee considered and adopted the A list of the NHI bill. And then it speaks to the members of the ANC who are named, and the member of the IFP who's also named, who supported the A list, and the opposition parties, the DA's members and the EFF's member and the Freedom Front Plus member rejected the bill. On the 24th of May 2023, the committee considered and adopted the A list and the B bill. And then it mentions the members of the African National Congress who voted in support of the A list and the B bill, and members of the Democratic Alliance, Economic Freedom Fighters, and Freedom Front Plus who rejected the A list and the B bill. It is then followed by the amendments as indicated by the rules of the National Assembly that we indicate the amendments, and you would see we start with clause 1. We mention only these clauses up to clause 57, which had been included in the report as dictated to by the rules. Up to clause 57, you can see, and then there are amendments to the schedule, and you can see the schedule. The amendments are mentioned in points 1 to 20, and then you find arrangement of the Act, and there are 3 points on arrangement of the Act of amendments, and then point 4 is about expression of minority views, as you had heard being mentioned in the rules of the National Assembly. So these are all captured here. 4.1 is that of the Democratic Alliance. .2 is that of the Economic Freedom Fighters. .3, that of the Inkatha Freedom Party, and 4.4, that of the Freedom Front Plus. This is the Front Plus. And then 5 is committee consideration. So this last paragraph reads that the Portfolio Committee on Health recommends that the House adopts this report and approves the second reading of the National Health Insurance Bill P11B of 2019. So, honorable members, I am now going to take hands on this. I just need to increase, go back to to see the hands, and I think I can stop screen sharing. Oh, let me leave it for there from now. And now I can't see all of the hands. Any hands, honorable members? I see the hand of Honorable Kaba. Just to note, you have to simply note whether you notice anything you needed that is not correct. Honorable Kaba. Honorable Clark. Honorable
Sorry,
Gela.
Chair, I was muted.
Please continue.
Yes, Chair. No, thanks, Chair. I think we have reviewed and managed to read the report beforehand, and it is so explicit and outlines the history of what had indeed occurred. And Chair, I rise to propose to the Portfolio Committee that we adopt the report, and it goes as it is to the National Assembly. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Clark.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, the report reflects all our discussions, although I also need to stress that we do not support the NHI Bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Gela.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chair, I rise to confirm that this is the true reflection of the report, and I rise to support Honorable Kaba that we adopt the report as the Portfolio Committee on Health, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Howard.
Thank you, Chair. I just rise to accept it, adopt the report as it presented. Thank you.
Started.
Thank you, Chairperson. I concur with my colleague, Honorable Clark, that this report reflects the true reflections of what happened in the Portfolio Committee when we were handling this NHI Bill. As everybody knows, by this time, the Freedom Front Plus is still rejecting the bullets in its entirety, but this report is a true reflection of what was happening. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other members?
Thank you, Comrade Chair. I also concur that this is a true reflection of the report, and I agree with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Gela, is that a legacy hand?
Yes, Chairperson, but Chairperson, please note that the African National Congress support the report, the implementation of the NHI, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. So, honorable members, I also support the report. I also agree that this is a true reflection of what had transpired in the Portfolio Committee on Health. I do appreciate all of you raising your opinions on this report. I see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members voting or indicating.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, Chair. Can we please allow Uma Muhlengwa to say something also?
Okay.
I think she's on the platform.
Oh, good morning, Honorable Slengwa. Very welcome. Honorable Slengwa. Honorable Singwa, are you on the platform? Can you speak to us? Ms. Majalamba, what do you advise now? Ms. Lingwa, are you able to speak now? So, honorable members, we have in support for the adoption of the report, we have Honorable Skaba, Gela, Harvard, North Nagel, and Jacobs. That's 5. Not supporting on this platform, this report is Honorable Clark, Van Staden, and earlier Honorable Chirwat indicated that they also don't support this report. So that's 5-3. I then wish to state that this report of the committee is duly. Honorable Clark, yes, I see your hand. I did mention your hand.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I just lost connection, so I just want to make sure you mentioned the DAs that we do not support the NHI bill. I lost connection for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Van Staden.
No, I said my piece. Sorry, Chair. That's fine.
Right. So that would be 5-3. And also in terms of the political parties, the ANC supports this report. The DA does not support the report. The Freedom Front Plus does not support the report. Honorable members, I then deem this report to have been duly adopted by the Portfolio Committee on Health, and it is called the report of the Committee on Health on the NHI Bill. So we will walk away from this one. Thank you very much. I see a hand raised of Ms. Yoliswa Landu, but I'm not going to give you an opportunity to speak. I think you would know by now that this is a meeting for members of the Portfolio Committee on Health.
Sorry,
Honorable
Umam Mhlengwa has sent a message in the chat group. Can you please have a look? Thank you.
All right, thank you. The PCNL chat group.
Yeah, I think there's a misunderstanding.
Yes.
No, I said, and I think Member Clark also said that the information contained in the report is a true reflection of what was happening. So that information is correct. All that we said is that we, as everybody know by now, we do not support the NHI bill, but the information which is contained in the report is correct, and it reflects a true reflection. So I think there's a misunderstanding.
Chair.
So
Chair, we've lost the chair.
So sorry, I support the report, but not the NHI bill. The bill I'm rejecting, I said earlier, but the report itself, it's fine.
Your point is noted, Honorable Van Standel. On the charter, Chair, Honorable Sengwa, the IFP support the report, Chairperson. It's what she wrote on the group chat.
Thank you very much, honorable members, for assisting me. I hear what Honorable Van Staden is saying, so he says they support the report. Thank you. And then the
Chair.
Honorable Flengwa has indicated that the IFP supports the report and the bill. So she supports the report and the bill itself. Thank you. Honorable Wilson, and then Honorable Clark and Honorable Kaba. Honorable members, I would have to finish now, please. So, Honorable Kaba. I said
Thank you,
Wilson,
Chairperson.
Wilson, Kaba, Clark.
Thank you, Chairperson. I just wanted to clarify, and we're on the same page as the Honourable Van Staden. We are happy with the report. It is a true reflection of what has taken place. We are happy with the report, but we do not support the bill.
Right. Thank you. Honorable Kaba.
No, Chair, I think Honorable Gela had said it very well that I could also read on the chart that the IFP is in support of the report. And on agenda, Chair, we are discussing the report and members are happy with the report and the report is supported. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And then Honorable Clark.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, just to build on what Honorable Wilson said. The report we support, but we do not support the NHI bill. Thank you.
Thank you. So, honorable members, I'm also looking at what Honorable Chirwa had said. She mentioned two things. She said objects to the NHI bill and then abstinence on the AMA treaty. We could always find out from her the support for the report, but at this point in time, I'm going to change the numbers which I had indicated. All members who are present support the adoption of the report, except it would get some more clarity from Honorable Chirwa, or we could just continue because we do have a majority, and also that Honorable Dlamini is not present in the meeting. Those are the only two. And for the rest of us, we therefore support the adoption of this report, and our committee secretary, Ms. Yokazi Majanamba, will indicate that as such. This report is therefore adopted, honorable members. Thank you. I'm going directly to the second one, which is the report on the AMA Treaty, and I just need to go out of
Chair, we can't hear you.
now. I need to share my screen, and you should be able to go. So, honorable members, that is the report of the committee for consideration and adoption on the AMA Treaty. The title is Report of the Portfolio Committee on Health and the Ratification of the Treaty for the Establishment of the African Medicines Agency, dated 26 May 2023. It speaks to the committee having considered the ratification of the Treaty for the Establishment of the African Medicines Agency, referred to it as reports as follows. And this is what we had gone through before. That's the history of the African Medicines Agency, that the task team had been established, that the African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government adopted the treaty in their 32nd ordinary session, and that Rwanda was selected to host the headquarters of the AMA Treaty, of the AMA, or the African Medicines Agency. Then the objectives are mentioned there. We've gone through this at a continental level, the AMA's mission, what it is, and then in order for us to achieve its mandate, AMA intends to work with technical partners such as the World Health Organization, European Medicines Agency, United States Food and Drug Administration for alignment with normative standards, technical cooperation, and capacity building. And it talks to how the AMA intends to develop improved access to quality assured medical products. And then the committee received its briefing on the AMA Treaty from the Department of Health on the 17th of May, 2023. The department came to present to the Portfolio Committee on Health, and this is what they had highlighted. And then lastly, honorable members, we need to adopt or reject the ratification of the treaty. So we'll go through the same process again. I'm going to stop sharing. I'll go back to where we were earlier. So I will now take hands. Honorable Wilson. Any other hands? I said I was going to call you honorable members, but you may raise your hand since it worked very easily earlier. So it's Wilson, Kaba, Gela, in that order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Please note we did raise a lot of concerns around the treaty, particularly in terms of its costs, who's responsible for what, and who will pay for what. And there was a lot of questions around the establishment and particularly in the costing of this treaty. We have not had a response to those questions as yet. So the DA will reserve its right and its opinion at this stage until such time as we have presented to our caucus. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Kaba.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think we support the report and our participation to the treaty, and we are ready, Chair. We want to be counted. Moreover, that we are coming from Africa Day. So this brings excitement and happiness for us to be part of Africa on the treaty. Just one last matter, Chair. I'm not speaking for any other party, but having raised from the previous member, having raised from the last meeting, I think Dr. Tembakwayo as well was in support of the treaty. I think this registers progress, Chair. The ANC, Chair, we support the treaty. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Gela.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I rise to second Honorable Tsaba on his input. He's correct, Chairperson. We are moving. We are looking forward to this AMA treat. We support the AMA treat, Chairperson, as African National Congress.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I second the Honorable Kaba and the Gela's inputs. I also rise to support the report and the treaty. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Staden.
Chairperson, thank you. I also reserve my right to take this treaty to our caucus in Parliament for a final decision on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Tembakwayo.
Thank you, Chairperson. The EFF is in support of our treaty. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Osnapel.
Thank you, Chair. I also we support this treaty. Thank you very much.
The report, honorable members, and the treaty.
Yes. Yes, Chair. Thank you.
Support this report, except for the two who are reserving their rights, which is Honorable Van Staden of the Freedom Front Plus and Honorable Wilson of the DA. And I also support the report of the committee and for adoption on the African Medicine Agency's treaty. So, honorable members, that report of the African Medicines Agency treaty has been duly adopted by this committee. Both reports would be forwarded. Both these reports would be forwarded to the National Assembly.
Chair,
Yes, Honorable Gela.
can you please check Mahlengwa?
Yes, Mahlengwa. Mahlengwa.
Marshling was in the debate that is currently taking place in the Good Hope Center. I think she's participating there. We're going to have to get her response in writing, I think.
Thank you. So, honorable members, we understand that Mahlengwa is participating in debate right now, and she did earlier indicate that she supports and the IFP supports the AMA Treaty. For today, we are getting an indication of the number of members supporting the report of the committee, and we would have to work with the members who are present and would be able to indicate their support for the adoption of this committee report. There is a majority that had already indicated that they support the adoption of the report, and so we will go forward. I would already indicated that we had as a committee adopted this report, honorable members. Thank you very much. I was about to say that it will be forwarded to the National Assembly. The person in charge there is our committee secretary. We will leave it to her able hands, and our content advisor and our researchers. And they normally do a fantastic job of all of this. So we have no challenges with regards, even a long report like the 75-page report in the history of South African Parliament. That is really something that was a great ask of those who had to compile the report. And so we congratulate them on a successful report, which we know is a lot of work. Honorable Van Staden, I see you raised your hand. You have a last item to say.
Chairperson, I from my side also thank you for writing this report. It was a huge task to do with all what was happening, and I just want to congratulate Ms. Manjalamba and the others who helped her. However, Chair, I just want to ask, the one we received last night was number one we saw this morning was actually the draft. Will we receive also the final one on with NHI report? Thanks.
Yes, so if I understand the process correctly, this has to be called a draft, honorable members, because we have to come and adopt it. We have now come and adopted it. It will then be put into a final format and even the bill itself, it will be the bill, it will be the report, it will go to the National Assembly, you will receive copies of these. And when we go for debate on these two matters, which we hope would take place within the next week, but definitely before the 15th of June, I've had a discussion with the House Chairperson about us completing this work, and that as soon as we are now done this morning, it will be forwarded. But I think it's called the tabling committee or the programming committee, and they will table this for debate in the National Assembly. And of course, you'll be receiving copies of the actual final reports, and not draft reports and not draft bills, but the final bill. I think that I'm going to give my committee secretary an opportunity to correct anything that I had stated it wrongly, or to mention anything which it might want to add. Ms. Manjalamba.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. There's nothing to add, Chair, except to say that Mam Hlengwa has sent a message in the group indicating that she supports the AMA Treaty. Thank you, Chair.
And the report. And the report. Thank you. And the report, Ms. Majalama? Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very
both,
much.
Chair.
Both. Thank you very much.
Both
And
reports, Chair. Thank you.
thank you. And we will note that as such in our documentation. So, honorable members, I want to go to the last part of our meeting for today. And that is the minutes which we need to adopt. Ms. Majalamba, can you flag those minutes? Honorable members, the minutes of the 10th of May 2023, those were inputs by the Committee on the Parliamentary Legal Advisor and the State Law Advisor's legal opinion, clause by clause deliberations on the NHI Bill, and consideration adoption of minutes. Please note whether you have been captured correctly as being present or have been sent an apology on page 1, page 2, scroll. That's just opening remarks, members' input on the legal opinions, clause by clause deliberations. Next page. Next page. Then we considered and adopted minutes of the 3rd of May. And thank you very much. Nothing, honorable members. Can I ask for a mover for adoption of these minutes? Honorable Gela.
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much. Can I ask for a seconder?
I second the chair.
Thank you.
I rise to second.
Thank you, Honorable Harvard. And so those minutes have been duly adopted of the 10th of May, honorable members. These are the minutes of the Portfolio Committee on Health of the 12th of May. The agenda was consideration and adoption of the A-list of the National Health Insurance Bill. Please scroll. You can see that, look whether you were noted to be present. Next. Thank you. Presentation of the A-list. And then conclusion. You can scroll, Ms. Majalamba. And so, members, those are the minutes. Can I ask for adoption of these minutes? Any mover?
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. Honorable Kaba.
Chair, I rise to second the adoption. Thank you.
Thank you. Next set of minutes, Ms. Majalamba. Minutes of the Portfolio Committee on Health of the 15th of March. You would have seen we were very busy, honorable members. Briefing by the Parliamentary Legal Advisor. Sorry, just scroll down again. Briefing by the Parliamentary Legal Advisor and the State Law Advisor on the inputs on the NHI Bill. Note whether you were marked present. Next page. I see just a bit of spacing, Ms. Majalamba. After the advisor and between advisor and briefed between competition and commission under the blue, but that's just typing challenges which you correct. Have we lost the screen now?
Sorry, Chair, I think I made a mistake. It's supposed to be the minutes of the 15th of May. So I was sharing the minutes of the 15th of March. Those minutes have been
wondering why we were now
already.
back at,
Yes,
thank you.
those minutes have been adopted already. Can I request that then we defer the minutes of the 15th of May to our next meeting? Thank
From
you.
15th of May onwards.
Yes, yes.
Wondering why we were back. Yes, thank you very much for noting that. Honorable members, I think that brings us to the end of our meeting for what we had purposed this meeting for. We were also going to get the feedback from the Deputy Minister towards the end of our meeting, and unfortunately took the space very quickly and took us through the cholera outbreak and the preparations of the department to manage to manage these problems. I don't have any other items. Ms. Majalamba?
There's nothing from my side. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for all of you, for your participation, for joining us today in this meeting. We will be in further communication with you on the WhatsApp group and via email on where our next process will be on both the NHI Bill, on the AMA Treaty, and as the Deputy Minister said, they will be in touch to give us further information on Monday as to what is transpiring with the cholera outbreak. Thank you very much. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, for your commitment and your hard work together with your team, Ms. Majalamba. As African National Congress, we rise to thank you and to say we are looking forward to implement the NHI. Forward with NHI and AMA Treaty forward, Chairperson. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Honorable Gela had said the mouthful. Thank you, Chair.